Hi guys, new day, new portion of stories. However, today I also have important news for you. We decided to rename our channel because we think that it will help our new subscribers to understand about what our channel is. So today is historical day for our channel. Its name will be Russian Bear Stories. Bear like Teddy. Cute fluffy animals, which walk around Moscow, drink vodka and play balalaika. You already know everything. Therefore, I think we could start. Today, I will tell you the most real and creepy stories of Russians from the gangster 90s. Put a like if you ever heard that Russians like vodka, and we begin. Women are fearless, especially when it comes to their children. It was a practice in our city that young guys were recruited into bandits in the 90s. And then they were interfered in all sorts of crimes, were allowed for showdown like cannon fodder, and were scoffed in every possible way. It was impossible to refuse, otherwise they would have killed you. My father got into such a group. He began to disappear from home, often came with bruises. He was seen with strange people, so my grandmother immediately understood everything. And she alone, without saying anything to anyone, went to the man asking to let her son go. Surprisingly, the woman was allowed to talk to such an influential man and wasn't touched. She saved father with the phrase, "You are also someone's son. Have pity on me, as you would have pitied your mother." After this conversation, she was released home, and later my father was released too. Moreover, when there were especially difficult times, there was always a black car near the house. In the hungry month, packages of food were left on the doorstep of the house. The people of that man rescued my aunt once, when she was caught by some bandits in the alley. I am amazed until now how amazing the time was, and I understand that not all bad people are scum. Do not be discouraged. Never. Every time it seems that I live poorly, I remember what it was like during the 90s. In those years, my father was killed by a local big shot for his temper. I was left alone with a disabled mother at my 13 years old. We were earning as we could. We cleaned yards, delivered newspapers, handed over bottles. Once I was even hired as a nanny to kindergarten. And all this was needed to really just survive. I remember the feeling of humiliation when I gratefully took the bones from the neighbors who were intended for the yard dogs, and how we made soup from them. It was a real holiday for us. I remember how already at the age of 15 I had to smile at the son of the owner of the eatery because I understood that he liked me and they kept me there only because of him, with my often delays because of school. That guy was a very good person. He helped me with work and never once allowed himself even a hint of vulgarity. But because of these smiles, I felt like a kind of slut. I was nothing to do because then my mother could no longer walk. I remember all this, despite the fact that I'm already an adult and wealthy woman. Be sure to put the like if you think that the previous hero deserves respect. Meanwhile, I'll tell you another story. My uncle was in a gang of local authority in 90s. He left a notch of his arm with a blade as a memory of the day when he survived after each disassembly. There is 724 scars on his hands, which are almost completely covered by them. He twice saved boss from the death, covering him with his body during all this time. But even after all these merits, he was kicked out of the gang only because he took 3 oranges for his pregnant wife from the home of the leader's mistress. Uncle says that day the happiest in his life, as his wife was extremely glad that he had retired, and his whole gang was either arrested or killed during the police roundup exactly 1 week later. Do you like meat? Not sure after this story you can still eat it. My family have not eaten meat for more than 20 years. And no, we're not animal lovers. We don't have allergies or illnesses. We don't adhere to Hinduism and we don't even monitor our health. Dad brought a package of minced pork from the market in the 90s. When I was 7 years old, it was the only meat in a few months, and how he got it was a big secret. My mom was going to make cutlets, joyfully dumped this stuffing on a plate, and there were two huge human fingers with rings. I instantly fell into tears, my mother felt sick, and my father had a heart attack, because he recognized the ring of a friend who had disappeared the day before. The whole family simply cannot look at made products, and none of us wears any jewelry since then. Still, it's creepy. Well, still love meat? Great. Then it's time to learn a little more about the life of Russian in the 90s. Our dad took a loan from the bank in the early 90s, when I was still very small and my younger sister was just planned. A large sum for those times was needed to build a family house. Then inflation was so mad that prices in stores rose 2-3 times a day. Soon our dad was able to completely repay the loan that had depreciated in this way. He simply sold the drill and refunded the proceeds to the bank. That's how it was to live in Russia in the 90s. I hope you enjoyed this video, because we tried our best for you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell to always be aware of the coolest stories. See you soon, my friend!